What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first Thursday Bangkok Strange live stream. Excuse me, I am your host, Dana Bluin, as always, joined by the beautiful, beautiful man, my co-host, Mike Somerville. Mike, how's it going over there?
Dude, I'm living the dream. I literally pronounced the G today. I was driving around on the camera and I said the G, and I'm like, Jib and her husband are gonna mess with me.
See, I got a little combat wound here up on the head.
Dude,
I was at the movies last night watching Mulan.
Okay, was it any good?
It was pretty fucking awesome, to be honest.
Okay.
Pretty awesome movie. No singing, which I think made it a million times better.
Okay.
And just like the cast was all great. Everything about it was fantastic from a movie perspective. Way better than the New Mutants.
Okay. All right.
Yep. So we're there last night, and when I leaned back in the chair, I bumped my head against the wall. There's like a little ledge. It actually like made a dent, and then I didn't know it was bleeding. We went to dinner at Pala, best pizza on the planet.
Clearly,
we're at Terminal 21, so we just walked downstairs basically. Best pizza on the planet. And Jib got their mushroom and potato soup, which was amazing.
Yeah, I had that last time. You actually recommended that to me. It was friggin' amazing.
And and then I got I just got a couple slices of marinara and the salad. But Jib's like, "Oh, you're bleeding." And I'm like, "What?" And I touched my head, and it was like blood coming down. And so I went and got some hand sanitizer and like wiped my head. And she's like, "What are you doing?"
That didn't sting at all.
So all good. So we got Andy Egger in the chat from earlier. He was there a few minutes beforehand. So Andy, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us. And guys, if you have questions about Bangkok, about life in Thailand, about what we're working on, feel free to ask them in the chat, and we will do our best to respond. But for you guys might notice, Mike is down at the beach again. A lot of you guys probably saw Dana's been down a sidewalk.
Yeah, what is that? What, did you like hit your head on the sidewalk? What is he talking about?
No, I don't know, but whatever. Sure, why not? Maybe Aztec missed the story about the movie theater, but
okay, but dude, like, what did you lean back into? I mean, it's not like there's unistrut over every chair. Like, what's going on?
I was in the last row in the sofa seat.
Yeah. So what'd you do? Hit the concrete wall?
No, there's like a little ledge on that wall, and when I leaned back, because I'm taller than the chair, my head hit it.
Oh, like a concrete ledge or metal?
No, it's wood. It was cheap wood finishing, like
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sacrifice your body for the game, as we always say, dude. I mean, that's good. That you're freaking committed. You're like, honey, listen, I am in this movie. I don't care what happens. If I have to give birth, I will.
Yeah. It was a good flick. Mulan, right? It's like the third movie I've seen in a week. Tenet's still probably the best movie I've seen since Pandemic. But Mulan is a close second. Definitely beats the New Mutants, which sucked so bad. So bad.
I'm trying to think the last movie I saw. It's been a while since I've been to the theater.
Yeah, I think. Well, I used to go to Scala every month for they would show the old movies. Now Scala's closed, so I don't get to that. Actually, it was like they decided to close Scala. Well, the government closed all theaters a week, not even a week, like 4 days before I was supposed to go watch The Graduate, which was the February movie or whatever, or March movie.
Oh, they have classics.
Yeah. And we had the tickets for The Graduate and everything, and it supports like the Thai Classic Cinema Foundation, and they're cheap. They're like 100 baht, right, or 120.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's that like Scala was 140 baht anyway. Yeah, no wrestling scars, but theaters of trouble, Aztec. I've had all the cauliflower air drained out. My fingers are pseudo straight. I've broken all my fingers and toes a few times each. So
seriously, dude, yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, fingers and toes are casualties of grappling for sure.
It just happened. Okay, you were mentioning that before. describe grappling. I have no idea like exactly what that looks like.
So grappling is like wrestling, but instead of trying to pin someone, you're trying to submit them.
What does submit mean?
Like you're trying to choke them out, put them in an arm lock, like hyperextend their joints so they give up.
Okay. And how is that different than pinning? Pinning is basically just like they're down and they simply cannot move. It's like checkmate.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit aware of your mic, man. Every time you move, I'm getting some growling.
All right. Well, I'll try and remain stationary.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, so pinning is where you get their shoulders flat on the ground. Submission is like where you force them to tap out.
Okay.
Suburban Beard, that's my boy Josh out in Ohio, Olmsted Township, Ohio, up in Cuyahoga County. He's got an awesome channel. I think I talked about his before. He basically goes penny shopping every day and finds stuff at like
Dollar General. Yes, that's his channel. Awesome.
Yeah. So yes, I have seen the new Dune. Who do you think you're talking to, Josh? Of course I've seen it. Actually, I say that, but like I think last time I didn't see the first trailer that came out, and he sent it to me. He's like, "What do you mean you haven't seen this? It came out 4 hours ago."
Focus.
Is this the Telly Savalas fan club meeting?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, have you seen the new Dune trailer, Mike?
No, dude. I'm like so ignorant to movies and that sort of thing. I literally just watch like old TV, like series on Netflix.
Is amazing. The new trailer.
Really?
Like I was a fan of the original Dune. Then I watched that series they had in like the 2000s. Obviously, I've read the books. Frank Herbert's a genius, but the new one looks amazing. And I think Dave Bautista has given The Rock a run for his money as far as being the best wrestler actor. I mean, but as a kid who grew up in the 80s and 90s, I kind of missed the horrible movies that Hulk Hogan used to make. No, right. Lord, brother.
Yeah, if it bleeds, we could kill it. Yeah.
Tropic Thunder, brother. You know, like, no matter what, like you had to say the name of the movie in the movie, follow it up with a brother. You knew it was good. No acting ability at all. Yeah, so go more hikes. Yeah, the Dune trailer was great. Yeah, it is crazy amazing. They spent 3 years just figuring out how to make the worms look. Yeah, you finally see the worms at the end of the trailer, the new trailer, and just like the texture, everything about it looks phenomenal. I think it was the last trailer that came out is you get to see the worms from the side. This time, like you see it just actually come up out of the sand and you see a full frontal.
Now, I'm assuming Sting is not in this new one.
I would imagine no. Nor is Patrick Stewart, as far as I know.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, Dave Bautista's in it. It looks phenomenal. I mean, that whole Dune world, that universe, is amazing.
Well, when does it come out?
It's got to be next year. I'm sure Josh knows the exact date. Josh, when's it come out? He'll tell us. But yeah, it's man, I'm looking forward to it for sure. For sure.
Do you always go to Terminal 21 for movies? Is that like your more favorite place, or is it just convenient?
I just started going to T21 only because everyone is in this movie. Huge cast.
Oh, all right. Even Bear?
Aztec says it was a good trailer. No, I don't think Bear's in Dune. October 20th on Netflix, though, our friends Bear and David from our previous episode will be in it comes out in December. Fuck. Nice. Oh, so Bear and David will be in Tremors 477.
This time it's personal.
On October 20th on Netflix. You can check them out on that.
You sure it's the 20th, not the 28th? Because those guys, do you verify?
No, right now on Netflix it says the 20th.
Okay, awesome, cool.
Yeah. But like he said, they might change it.
Yeah, but that's good. At least people can mark it in their calendars. That's gonna be really cool, dude. Because I'm psyched to watch it and then give those guys crap.
So you were asking about Terminal 21. Is that my go-to theater? No. not necessarily Scala used to be where I would see every movie.
Right.
I would go to Scala, and that's kind of where Jib and I have been going, since we started dating. We would go to watch movies at Scala because it's, beautiful building, classic architecture. And actually where I learned to sew is in that theater building as well, the L Sewing Studio. That's where I met Crew Yang and the Dick Pointer and Nong Earth. So don't forget, Josh says, don't forget to watch Hard Target 2.
Hard Target 2, yeah, nice.
Absolutely, Josh, absolutely. If you can spot me in Hard Target 2, you win my admiration.
How long ago was that?
We filmed it in 2015. I think it came out in 2016.
Is it on Netflix? I tried to look for it. Yeah.
The original Hard Target the original Hard Target was a great movie. Jean-Claude Van Damme, directed by John Woo. Hard Target 2, directed Pirate Bay.
So I can't watch it online anywhere? Not even at like...
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
Okay.
So Scala used to be our place. Scala has now closed. That is no longer a theater. So we've gone since then to Terminal 21 twice, and we went to the Major Ekamai one time.
The other side of Gateway.
Yeah, across from other side of Gateway, other side of Soy Ekamai. Right.
And is that pretty good? Pretty good quality?
I mean, it's a theater, I mean, it's not. So look, we have the only 70 millimeter theater, IMAX theater in Asia, in Southeast Asia, is in Bangkok at Paragon, Siam Paragon.
Oh, Siam Paragon. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So that's a huge theater. The big, like the screen, you feel like it's wrapped around you. I remember when Dunkirk came out, which was the last movie before Tenet that was filmed on 70 millimeter. There are people flying in from all over Southeast Asia to watch the movie in Bangkok.
Are you that much of a fan of like movies in the sense that like you want to see the highest technical quality, the best audio, visual experience?
It's about the experience for me, which is why I would always go to Scala, right? I like that the atmosphere, the ambiance, the guys wearing the yellow blazers helping you get to your seat and everything. But I'm a huge Nolan fan, and so when Nolan releases a movie, Dunkirk, and a 70 millimeter IMAX, I will go to the 70 millimeter IMAX theater to see it because he filmed it for that format, for that experience. Okay. And I saw Dunkirk in 70 millimeter and standard theater, and it feels very claustrophobic when you watch it in the theater.
Right. Okay. Now, is there another IMAX theater that's just not 70 millimeter? Isn't there one at
I believe there's also one at Courtier.
I was going to say, I thought there was one in Courtier. Yeah, okay. I've never been to that one, but have you been to that one?
I've been to them all. I mean, the 70 millimeters blows them all away, obviously. Courtier is a great theater. It's beautiful. It's just Courtier is always a bit busy for me. I mean, even, like I'll go there to go to AISDC when I want to work outside the office.
Yep.
Right. 1,200 baht per year membership for this co-working space and access to a private library and high-speed AIS internet and private meeting rooms and couches, the whole nine.
And the private meeting rooms are actually very reasonably priced. That's the thing.
150 to 350 an hour.
Yeah, free.
Here we go. Josh is saying Hard Target 2, rent, Amazon $3.99, Google $3.99, YouTube $3.99, buy Microsoft $12.99, Redbox $13, DirecTV $13, Amazon $14. Man, Amazon's trying to squeeze some blood out of that stone.
Same with Google. Now, because he shops for $9.99 or 99 cents on everything, can't he find it somewhere for 99 cents for us?
Josh, can you find Hard Target 2 for 99 cents? Or a penny? Can you find it for a penny? No, what he's going to do is go download it illegally, throw it up on a server.
Yeah, right. For it. Yeah, exactly. He's like, just. Oh, speaking of pennies, right? So if you guys remember the last stream, we talked about how we're trying to get like more interaction with you guys, and obviously it would be really cool if you bought our T-shirts and stuff. But look, here's the deal. I'll just speak for myself. We could generate zero money with this, and we would still have fun doing it. But it's like there's no downside, right? Because as we spoke about before, we're not looking for the money so that we can go get hair implants. We really want to help this hill tribe, and we can talk about that a little bit more again. But to the gentleman who I hugely appreciate that gave us money at the PayPal link, and if you want, it'll probably be at the bottom scroll, or you can change that or whatever if you want. Yeah, it's just basically, just paypal.me/Bangkok Strange. But I really appreciate the guys that donated. The downside is the guys that donated 150 baht, PayPal takes 100% of that in fees. And it's kind of ridiculous, And so I was amazed because that is actually a Thai PayPal account attached to a Thai bank account. So I'm like, okay, there's no way there's like, currency exchange or anything like that. So, I'll have to do something like in the screen, that comes up and put some sort of, big, bold text saying, PayPal can kiss my ass.com. But unfortunately, So anyway, but I really want to thank the guys that donated, but just realize that you gave all your money to PayPal.
Yes. Yeah, but we do appreciate that. And so we did send a message to the teacher at the Hill Tribe. So when she gets down to the to get internet access again, she'll read that, and we'll start the process going. And we also started it's not launched yet, but we've put in motion a Patreon, and a big chunk of the money from the Patreon will go to help these projects at the Hill Tribe and wherever else we end up doing stuff. But and I think the Hill Tribe itself is that school. I think for me, education's one way you can make a big difference, especially, when you have a community that is so underserved. It's absolutely, critical to improve education, to improve quality of life for them long term. So Go More Hikes, tell us about the Hill Tribe.
Oh, okay.
They wear the rings with the elongated neck. So no, those are Burmese migrants living in Thailand, similar area, northern Thailand. Oh, they're more northeast. So no, they don't wear those. So this Hill Tribe is in northern Thailand. Walgreens 90% off. Catch you on the flip side, Josh. If it's a sale, he's going for it.
Nice.
Later, Josh. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Appreciate it, buddy.
So the Hill Tribe, they are up in northern Thailand in Mekong, and they live on in the mountains that border with Myanmar. And so there's a number of tribes up in these mountains, and so it's basically a overnight train to get up to Chiang Mai, and then pretty much a day's drive to get up to the town that is at the base of the mountains range that they live in. And so you spend the night, and then the morning you go up by 4x4 truck, and it takes between 4 and 6 hours, depending on the road conditions, to get to their village. And there are times I've been up there where the road is just completely washed out, and it's not even rainy season, and you're skirting along, like a 200-foot drop on the side of a mountain in this pickup truck with all stuff in the back. And I was telling Mike one time we had a driver who just had one arm. It was a bit wild.
Shifting, holding the steering wheel.
Yeah. So they're up in those mountains in northern Thailand. And I think we mentioned in the last stream, it was King Rama 9. One of his projects was to actually build the roads out to these mountain areas, so they can get more access to the mountains and be able to bring food up. And they grow rice, which is their primary revenue generator. But the rice, they can't grow Thai jasmine rice Thai jasmine rice because of the soil conditions and the elevation. And so they grow like a very cheap type of rice, and they get baht on the kilo basically. Yeah, so education is sort of the should be the path out for some of them from that from that kind of life. And not that it's a bad life, but there's opportunity. And what ends up happening, because we live in a modern consumerist world, is that, you know, they need cash to be able to access certain things. They need cash to be able to really live at this point. And so a lot of the young kids, like around 6th or 7th grade, they get pulled out of school, they get sent down to work in a gas station, or they get sent to work with a construction crew, or, you know, there's, you know, a litany of other things that might end up happening. And so they get kind of stuck in this sort of blue collar cycle of labor. And, you know, in Thailand, a laborer's minimum wage is 300 baht a month, no, 300 baht a day. So $10 a day. Yeah.
Now, didn't you say that there was a girl that graduated, like, how recently, but she was the first one to ever graduate from high school there?
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was, well, that was when we were there in 2015, I believe, or 2016.
Okay.
So Josh sent me a message like, yo, do I need to buy your boy a mic?
Yeah. Oh, why does it keep banging around?
Yeah. I'll let him know that you're on vacation, so you're not in your normal setup.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal. I mean, I could only hold 7 kilos in one bag for AirAsia, so I was like, I can't travel with a whole bunch of gear.
They don't check it.
That's true. They're pretty lenient right now. Yeah.
We're gonna get you. Actually, one time I flew to Borneo on AirAsia. They didn't check my bag on the way there, and I had all my camera gear with me, and, you know, my camera gear in one bag ends up being like 20 kilos. And on the way back, they wanted to weigh my bag. I was like, yo, I flew here with this bag. And they implemented the rule while I was in Borneo. So
just for you?
Yeah, I was like, I had to show them, like, I flew here before the rule. And they were like, okay. Aztec, did I show the photo last time of the kid with the slingshot and the rat?
You tried to either get it or you tried to show it. I can't remember. I know we talked about it.
Because he said, don't educate them out of being able to shoot rats unseen with a ging in air alone. What a talent.
No, dude, that story is amazing. That kid obviously
I got a photo of him with the slingshot and the rat. Let me find it. So, Mike, while I'm looking for that, do me a favor and talk about kind of our plans for solar.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys don't know, right? So both Dana and I have a background in, certainly electronics, but also in engineering, meaning that, like, we can fix stuff that's thrown in our lap, but we also design stuff. And solar, from an electronics perspective, is, I mean, in other words, unless you're manufacturing the panel, it's really easy. I mean, because it's all basically like, you just have this rectangle and it generates DC, and then you take that and you put it into another piece of square metal that basically converts that DC into AC, if that's what you need. But the DC coming in, obviously, the good news is that we know about that sort of thing, and so therefore we know how to maximize the amount of power that's going to be coming out of these things, how to angle it. Usually you angle it basically off the horizon, the amount of degrees you are north of the equator, just if you don't know. And so it'll be a fun project for us, but again, it's a fun project that also is going to generate electricity for these people. Now, the challenge, of course, is, once the sun goes down, right? And so the good news is, and I think Dana found this one company out of the Philippines, and they basically have a couple products they resell that are made by a company called Yeti. If you're from the United States, you'll likely know the company Yeti because they're very popular making, like, some of the world's best coolers. That's kind of like their big product in the US. They have many others, but they basically make this bucket of batteries. So they make this battery. It's got a bunch of USB ports in it and that sort of thing. And so that will allow us to give them something so that they can, at night, right? They can have some ability to maybe have some lights on and the kids can study and that sort of thing. So it's going to be awesome. The other thing that we talked about, because we're so focused on, or not so focused, because we're such proponents of education, is that I said, look, to do this, we have to come up with, obviously a plan and a design and everything. But when we're up there, we need to come up with basically a curriculum to teach kids, about Ohm's law, which is very simple, just so you know. All you have to do is basically be able to multiply and divide. And if you can like figure that out, then electricity becomes really easy, I believe. But anyway.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, so the point is that I'm pretty confident that they're going to be teaching these kids basic math. And so all we need to do really is give them the ability, because I don't know about you guys, but like when I was first learning math, I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting. But first of all, like there's a hell of a lot more boys that are taking math than girls. And so first of all, this is pissing me off. This is of no interest to me. Secondly, which gratefully it's not the case as much anymore, but regardless, the minute there was a professor that took the time to say, Mike, this is how it applies to something that I was interested in, then I was like, oh my God, I love calculus. I love, trigonometry is like totally awesome because now I can calculate all of this stuff and sine, cosine, tangent, all this stuff's great. So what I'm hoping is that we can really teach these kids, about, electronics and Ohm's law. Secondly, how to maintain the thing. Because again, it's just like going up there and giving them a briefcase full of like $10,000. Okay, well, a year and a half go by, and now they have an empty fucking briefcase that they can't do anything with, and the kids are now down at the friggin' gas station working.
And now they're in debt $300K.
Exactly, because they're like, well, you know what? We have all this money. We could probably loan it out to nobody that will pay us back, but we could still, yeah.
So, okay.
So that's really the long-term plan. Do you find it?
Yes. So let me
and then
go
you
ahead.
Share it.
Yeah, and share.
And is my mic not banging as much anymore?
No, it's not banging as much.
Okay.
All right. So
I think
pull up first. This is my guy. Who?
What's his name, by the way?
I forget. This is 4 years ago. I forget the little guy's name.
I bet if you send a message to Jib downstairs, she knows what it is.
She probably does. So, can you guys see this?
Try. Can you zoom in or no? I think you can see it. I mean, I can definitely kind of make it out because I know what it is, but you might not be able to see the rat up close.
Okay, let me see if I can zoom in on that.
Get the full effect. That's awesome. Absolutely, dude.
So here he is in one hand holding a slingshot, and this is the rat that he killed with a rock using that slingshot in the brush from, like I said, like 10 meters away, like 30 feet.
Amazing.
So Aztec's like, oh man, he's sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kid, Aztec. That is the guy. He was like maybe, I don't know, 8-10 years old. And there's a bunch of us. I don't know how he heard this rat. We're walking through the how do I unzoom now? I want to like
escape.
Get it out of there we go. So we're walking through the jungle essentially, and like we're talking, like everyone's making noise, and he just stops. He said, and actually I gave him that haircut, so I feel kind of bad because he's one of the kids who like the clippers kept dying because of the no electricity.
Yeah.
With their broken ass solar panel, their PV.
Yeah. So, right.
That's why he's got a little bit longer hair on the front there. It's all supposed to be the same length.
We'll fix that with batteries.
Yeah. So he stops. Like he just stops and like reaches in his bag, pulls out the slingshot, and like just turns his head and boom, right away, like in a second. And then he runs into the bush and he's like scurrying around. And he picks up this dead rat that he killed with his slingshot, at like 30 feet.
Rockstar.
Absolutely.
That's just amazing.
Story, David. Thank you, Aztec.
Absolutely, dude. That's cool. Yeah.
So, and then let me. I believe I've also got. And let me see if I can. All right, here we go.
Now, this was what year? 2015? 2016?
2015, 2016.
Okay, so this kid is like 12 years old now?
Yes.
Do you know if he's still in school or if he's had to leave and do the whole gas station thing?
I'll have to find out from the teacher. So here's another photo.
Is COVID affecting these people negatively? Like, in other words, are people buying less rice? Or, I mean, they're not dependent on tourism.
Subsistence because they're subsistence, right? They're pretty safe as far as like contact. And I think they just sort of went to ground.
Okay.
All right, now can you guys? This is so the blue ping pong table here. This is the table that we bought. So my wearable tech company sponsored this table and the paddles and the balls. I talked about on the last stream that these kids used to play with books on a picnic table, batting whatever ball they had back and forth. And so the teacher was like, she's like, I know it's a big ask, but these kids would really love to play ping pong. And she's like, do you think maybe you could just get the net that we put on like the picnic table and they can sort of use that and it gives them like a little bit more of a feel? And I was like, well,
let's upgrade.
I'm like, I think we can do better than that.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, my wearable tech company, I talked with my partner and we put up the cash to buy the ping pong table, ping pong balls, paddles, and ship it up there. So we covered all of that expensive, and getting a truck to bring goods up isn't cheap. I think now the teacher has her own pickup truck, so it's a little different. But these are some of the kids, and the tall girl in the middle with the panda shirt on is the girl who would go on to graduate.
Okay.
If you see this little boy on the far left of the photo with the yellow shirt, the kind of dirty yellow shirt.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, it's a low quality image, and I apologize for that. But this little guy has a very severe case of thalassemia, so the teacher has to take him into town like once a month to get blood transfusions. And Mike, you and I were talking with Jib about this. So thalassemia is not so common in the U.S., but it's surprisingly common here in Southeast Asia. And this is the nicest kid. This is actually one of the kids who would like come over and like pet my body hair because he was like they had never seen like a foreigner before, and then a foreigner who's so hairy, they would just come over and like, oh, let me pet your body hair. What's this weird dude just doing, hanging out?
Do you grab salmon out of rivers? Like, oh my God, where do you live? But
it's kind of pretty much what he was thinking. All right, let me close.
Now, this blood transfusion thing, I mean, obviously in the United States, that's an expensive thing. And getting it accurate is fairly important. So, like at the base of this mountain, they have facilities such that they can do regular blood transfusions?
No, so he has to go to the hospital like in the closest city.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and because he's a Thai citizen, right? It's covered under like the healthcare that they have. So this is just a gaggle of the students, kind of, and like some of the elders in the village at the school. The school is sort of like the town, the village center, and you could walk from one end to the other in like 3 minutes. But the school is the most modern building in the village, as they are in every village for the most part in these areas. And ethnically, these people are not considered Thai. Ethnically, they're Karen. If they're registered at birth, they're Thai citizens, but their ethnicity is Karen. And they actually, their language is much closer to Burmese than it is to Thai.
Now, what sort of percentage of these kids, certainly in the last, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years, is leaving to like go find a better life and leave the family? Is that at all common, or?
So we had that conversation with the teachers. So Crew Som, who is still the head teacher there, and then Crew A, who was sort of her, I guess, teacher apprentice. He was a fresh university grad, and he and I talked quite a bit, and then Crew Som and Jib talked quite a bit, and we all we had dinner together every night. And she said, it's sort of now, because like they don't really have options to go to university because with the way the system is set up in Thailand, you have to, not that it's impossible, but your family has to have some wealth to be able to put you in classes to study for the university entrance exams, to prepare to get into a university, and then to be able to support you at that level, even though there are scholarships and stuff. But just like in America, like high school doesn't prepare you for university in America, on a number of levels. And for these kids, that's even more pronounced. Even though education at Thai universities, for the most part, is fairly rudimentary, these kids have never been in such a structured environment and put in the amount of rigor required to be successful in that situation for the first time away from home, when community is such a big thing for them.
Yeah, right.
It's not like they can travel home on a weekend, because it's usually a flight, a car ride, a 4x4 trek up into the mountains. And, by the time you get there, you say hi to your family, you turn around and head back, because it's a 3-day trip.
Right.
So,
but scholastically, are they prepared? Like that girl that graduated from high school, like, does she have at least, the minimum amount of experience, education to be able to apply somewhere like, I don't know, Thomasat? I mean,
so if she went and took the entrance exam and she scored high enough, academically, she's probably okay, right? Because like I said, it's not like Thai undergraduate university is difficult.
Okay.
But at the same time, socially, does she
Right.
have the ability to succeed at that school? I would say no. And it's not Thomasat or Chula or what, it's any university away from her village, unless she had gone to school in the city. And there's a few sort of charter school, not charter schools, boarding schools in the city, kind of around their village. And I think if the kids go to those schools, they're a bit more socially prepared to succeed long term. This is a photo of one of the houses in the village that the family who lived here told me it was okay to take this photo of their house. But this is one of the nicer ones in the village when I was there.
Are they at all embarrassed by these houses, or are they just like, no, this is our house? Like this is
this is how they live, right? This is how
okay,
they
good.
always lived.
Okay, good.
I think that they see, and there's practicality to this. They have the animals under the house. If they do get like a little bit of flash flooding, it's elevated, so they're okay. But there's other things, like they don't have plumbing, right? And so a lot of times they just kind of shit off the side of the house onto the ground, like where the pigs are.
Yeah, let me ask you about that, because you brought that up before, and it's like, okay, solar electric is sexy. Like, in other words, I installed that in my house in the middle of Mexico that had like, sit down toilets and a fireplace, and I actually installed Romex and put, should we be potentially like stepping back maybe and saying, no, we should probably build an outhouse, which would improve their overall health and potentially their ability to focus on scholastic? I mean, I don't know. Like, is there any?
So there's an outhouse there's a facility. There's an outhouse for the school, right? There's a toilet.
Okay.
But for the families, like, that's a whole. Just because if you build it, they won't necessarily come, right?
Okay.
So it's a comfort level thing. It's a sophistication, like being used to it. And it's the same thing why they still have the toilets on the ground in some parts of Thailand, because people are more comfortable to use that than they are a Western toilet, even if both are available. And so, I don't know how much of a benefit like building outhouses for the town would be, but to me, solar for the school increases the ability for the teachers to get access to showing video, like downloading videos when they're home and bringing them back and showing them to the students, or being able to, use projectors or play radios, things like that expose the kids to different amounts of technology and different tools for learning. I think one of the things we should do when we're up there, I'd like us to go for like a week We talked about this, and I'd love us to do podcasts with the kids.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Show them how it works, right? And like let them listen to it.
Hear themselves. Like, remember the first time you heard yourself on a cassette? You were like, oh my God, I sound like that?
Yeah. And of course mine wasn't pitch corrected, right? Because my recorder was a bit slow. So I was like, oh, I sound kind of slow. Let these kids like show them this stuff. And my hope is that when you do this, it plants that sort of seed of imagination with one of them. And that one kid, like, oh, what was that? Like, that was crazy. A lot of them have smartphones, but they have to drive to the base of the mountain. Well, now not the base anymore, like halfway down. So like in the middle of the mountain range, they can get some signal.
So how does that work when a kid who's like, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 or whatever, has a smartphone, but basically can't connect at all? Like, what do they do on it? Do they play games? Do they share photos?
Even today, I think there's very few games you can use that you can play without connecting to the internet in some way.
I kind of thought that, yeah. So do you know how they're using them?
So they're using them when they get down to the bottom of the mountain where they're at, and they can get service. And then they're going on Facebook, maybe going on Tinder. I don't know, and swiping, doing. Well, my buddy Eddie from San Francisco, he comes out to Thailand. He calls it the Running Man, where he just opens up Tinder and just keeps swiping on everything.
Oh my God, dude! He just says yes to everything.
I'm like, you're gonna get a surprise crawler in one of those packages.
Well, because I know like where Gracie lives, right? So they have internet, but it's not great, but it also costs money. And so therefore one of the reasons that most kids will use Facebook is because of course Facebook provides their service and their messaging app completely for free in these other countries. And if Facebook has their way, they will actually have internet for free for everybody too. But so
for Facebook products.
I think that's the limitation, right? So therefore it would be WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. I think they would probably also let you go to like Bing, because I believe they have a relationship. I believe some part of their search engine comes with the Bing engine. But in any case, so she can do that, but like she can send me a message, but she can't send me a photo, right? So that would cost money. So her daughter will save up, her allowance or whatever, and when she gets like 50 or 100 pesos, she'll buy some data, and then she'll use it. And same thing that you were talking about. When Gracie gets connectivity, she'll download a whole bunch of movies, and then when she goes back home, right? So is there anything like educationally that is even introduced to these kids relative to using their smartphone?
No.
Okay. All right. So they're not doing that yet. So it's just like entertainment, which is fine. I mean, again, I'm not saying that's bad.
So how did you come to find out about the tribe? This is way off the tourist track. Yeah. So go more hike. So I live here. Obviously, I've lived here for a while. My wife is Thai, and we were looking for a project for her company, her craft company, Knit by Jib. We were looking for a project to support through that. And one of her classmates, my wife has a master's degree in nutrition. One of her classmates from graduate school was high school classmates with this teacher. And so when Jib had reached out to her Facebook community to ask about, like, she's like, we're looking for a project, something that is focused on education, something that is, where we can really make a difference helping people, and like her original plan was to donate sweaters and hats that a lot of her fans made. And one of her classmates from grad school got in touch, connected us with the teacher. And through the teacher, we were able to find out about like some of the issues that they face as educators in these rural areas. And so that was how the connection started. And we had such a positive experience the first time we went, and we've stayed in touch, and we've continued to support numerous projects up there with them. And when I was talking to Mike about this was it's something that we're both passionate about, that we both want to do. And so it was just a good fit to keep it going, not just through my wife's company, Knit by Jib, or our design studio is sort of the whole entity, the Supervillain Designs, Supervillain Design Studio, but Bangkok Strange as well, and wrap this all in and make this a fundamental tenet of what we do as Bangkok Strange, and through our community outreach as guests in this country. We should take it upon ourselves to do a little bit better.
It's interesting that you say that. I was just thinking that, I came over here and I've even reached out to a buddy of mine, and he's got a Thai friend, and she has one of these placement agencies, right? It's like, okay, the schools need English teachers. English teachers come to her. She makes it so they have like the visa and blah, 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 blah. And then she places them, right? So I reached out to her, of course, and, I was like, all right, well, I don't want to teach English. Okay. Yeah. But like, I come from higher education, and I really love working with like, bright minds that are very entrepreneurial, like 18, 19, 21, 22-year-olds, because like I always say to them, I said, you guys are young enough and naive enough to think you're going to change the world, which means you will.
Yeah.
And so I love working with them, right? And so I reached out to her to see about do that. But then I'm like, okay, so you're going to work with privileged Thai students in Bangkok who own more clothes than you do and have a nicer car. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I need to revisit that. So, because it's funny, like when I go on vacation, people are like, oh yeah, they're, and the last thing, like I'm driving my motorbike around today, and I don't know if I get disappointed, but I certainly don't get more excited the more white people I see.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like I really want to hang out with Thais. Like I love going over to your house, dude, because you are like neat. Like I think you're the only white dude on that whole street, and then the side street. Yeah.
Yeah, probably like the main soy. Once you get down past the condos, I'm probably the only white dude. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I see some grungy backpackers. I see some grungy backpackers hanging around those cheap apartments up at the left-hand turn sometimes.
I see guys at that. It's kind of like, I don't know. For the sake of argument, it's like a hip coffee shop. It's called like 93, and it looks like a garage or something. Mm-hmm. And that seems like a pseudo internet cafe. I see older white guys walking around your neighborhood, like when I leave and I cruise down by the 7-Eleven.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're getting on the buses. Songtowns, yeah. Well, Big Red. It's Big Red. Do you have a picture of Big Red? So, because I feel incredibly fucking cool and local saying Big Red, but we gotta. But people are like, okay, Mike. So seriously, like what do? You straddle a piece of friggin' Big Red gum, like you've got chewing gum up your nose, and you think you're like really cool and friggin' Thai now. And it's like, no, it's a Big Red old piece of shit truck that is ridiculously reliable, and it's got really good padding.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's better than those little ones.
They're old. They're old. I don't have a photo of it. No.
How would you Google it? What would you call it? Like Big Songtao? Like, I mean, there's so many versions of Songtaos.
Yeah, I'll take a photo, and next time we do a live stream, I'll throw it up. So yeah, no, the Songtao is pretty awesome. What's going on with the background here? I think we have Jib's old class background.
I kind of wondered. I was just like, look, dude, I know that, you every now and then you kind of like, switch hit, which is, no judgment. And I mean, obviously, the best picture, of course, that you can have in your own office is a picture of yourself, because if you're, incredibly self-absorbed,
exactly.
Which I can't relate to at all, which is why I wasn't able to identify it initially. But I'm curious about, let's talk about something strange. Now, something fairly cool.
Let's talk about the pending civil war that you keep hearing about.
You know what? Okay. I want to talk more about, either you have rose-colored glasses like I do, or we just don't have any fucking tolerance for people that focus on the negative
100%
and just
negative.
What the hell? Like, I got to tell you guys, if you move, I don't give a shit if you move to Thailand or wherever you move. If you move somewhere and you dislike it such that even 10% of what you talk with your friends about is how you dislike this, or this is bad, or the world's out to fucking get you. Get the hell out. I don't give a shit what it costs, because you are not making the world spin any faster.
So we know a guy.
Here it comes.
All Thai people hate him, right? And he's convinced
Thai people hate all foreigners.
They're gonna kill foreigners in the street, according to him, and that we're on the verge of a civil war in Thailand. He's telling Mike, he's like, "Oh, it's good that you're going away. There's gonna be a coup while you're on vacation."
Yeah, like literally today, he's like, "Dude, there's gonna be a coup." Sends me this friggin' link. That's like, "Oh my god, all the taxi drivers are revolting." Dude.
Taxi drivers are protesting like once a month, specifically because they want to raise their base fare, and they want Grab to be illegal. So, but then there's some political shit going on in Thailand at the moment, and there's one party that has a lot of youth, like very young, and it's very popular amongst younger people and
college students primarily, right?
Well, college students, a lot of uneducated younger people as well, like a lot of laborers. But they're very anti-government and anti-monarchy.
Okay.
Which is a unique thing for Thailand. And so they're holding like all these protests, and they keep trying to sort of catch the government in a bad position. The problem is the guy who's leading this political party is kind of an idiot. Not kind of an idiot. He's very much an idiot.
So he's a shitty leader? That'll ruin them.
He's a shitty leader, and he's dumb. And I think this is the guy who thought he was going to bring the first Thai expedition to the South Pole.
Oh, Jesus.
Did I tell you this guy?
Yeah, you told me about it. Yeah.
So I think the world record for like the fastest expedition to the South Pole is 68 days round trip, or 70.
And he wanted to do it in half that time.
He wanted to do it in like 30 days, and he was going to leave with only a month left in the window to actually survive out in the open in the South Pole. And so it was this horrible plan. He also was going to try to sail across the Gulf of Thailand by himself, and he made it like 2 days in and quit, and had to have the rescue team come out and get him. And like a year later, there was this like middle-aged, like 50-year-old Thai guy who his mother passed away, and he had always promised her he would take her to the South, and he never did. And so he took her ashes, and he bought like a small canoe, not even like an ocean kayak or anything, like a canoe, like a villager canoe
for a lake.
Took it for a lake. Took it down the Chao Phraya, all the way from northern Thailand down the Chao Phraya River, right into the Gulf of Thailand, all the way to like Koh Phanong, and with her ashes, with no money, no support. Like he would stop at villages and they would feed him.
Okay.
No money to do anything, and this guy who's a millionaire couldn't even get across the Gulf by himself, and this dude makes it all the way down to the southern Thailand with his mom's ashes in a canoe.
So is this guy? He's got like way more, dollars than cents, as they say, right? Like he's got way more money than he knows. Is he just trying to be Richard Branson? He's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna like rocket myself up into the stratosphere and put myself in a Red Bull suit. Like, what is he doing?
He's trying to be like the Richard Branson of Thailand. Yeah.
Okay.
But the problem is that he just doesn't have the leadership or the management abilities of Richard Branson, and he fails at everything he tries. He's older than me by a couple years, and because his mother owns a news company, whenever they talk about him on the news, they call him a young man, a young leader. But he's like 3 years older than me.
So all I need to do is buy a fucking newspaper, and it's like all of a sudden I'm young Mike.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's good. So cheers to him.
So his political party's protesting, and so this other expat that we know in Thailand is convinced that there's going to be a civil war and a coup this week. Well, he's like, Mike, it's good that you're out of the city, because the civil war is coming. There's going to be bodies in the street. They're going to kill these kids. Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
So literally, I mean, like all, poetic license aside, I mean, the message that he sent me, and I copied it, and I sent it to Dana, and I'm like, dude, what the? Because he said to me, it's a good thing you're leaving the city because there's gonna be a coup, and I'm like,
and he said they're gonna kill these kids in the streets.
Yeah, and he sends me photos of the last coup, which I think is approximately 10 years ago, 10 years ago?
It was 2 coups ago. 2 coups ago.
2 coups ago. And they set fire to Central World. And I'm like, dude, that was a while ago.
It was like almost 20 years.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Go ahead.
Here's the other thing, though. I was at one of their protests by accident. Their first protest that they did was in front of Central World. Not at Central World, at MBK. I happened to be at MBK that day because I had a meeting with a friend to get coffee at Gallery Drip, which is a great coffee place over in a National Stadium. And so I actually passed that douchebag on the sidewalk with his like little entourage of douchebags. Like I could have stomped this guy out myself. If I had known how much of a hassle he was going to be, I probably would have done it out of general purpose.
Do you call him douchettes?
I could have just squashed his whole life. It would have taken me no effort. But the cops weren't even there. They weren't even at the last protest either. They show up like normal street cops in their super tight fitted uniforms.
No very fit.
No guns, right?
Right.
No riot gear.
No.
Like I don't like our friend. I'm not gonna say his name, but what the fuck is he even talking about? He's been like, I met him when he first moved here. When he first moved here, he's like, "Oh, this is the greatest place. They love foreigners. Our business is so good." Literally in less than a year, he was like,
"I was gonna ask you,
get us." They're like, dude, you gotta just chill and like kind of go with the flow. And you can't change the system. You don't have the ability to change the system. So work with the system how it wants you to work with it, and you will be successful. And
so it took him less than a year.
6 years.
Less than a year to get to that stage.
He was already negative nilly.
So do you just think that basically no matter where a person like that, I mean, because it's not like he's the only dude you and I have ever met in our lifetime that is like that, right?
No, for sure.
So do you think it's like, it's the infamous, like, no matter where you go, there you are, you take yourself with you, that sort of thing? Or is there something seriously against him, Thai business-wise, and simply either out of ignorance or false pride or ego or something, he's like ignoring the basics? Like, is there something?
I've had multiple businesses.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
I've had multiple businesses that none of them have had the issues he claims to have.
And they were like very similar companies, i.e. tech companies that had employees that like produced software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he always has an excuse for why my experience is different. Oh, well, you have a Thai partner. Or, oh, well, you did this, or oh, you didn't do that. The reality of the situation is this. If you're a negative person and if you're not flexible enough to work within the system that you're trying to work within, you're going to have a shitty experience. That is just a fact. Right? It doesn't matter if you're in America, Europe, Australia, Asia, Singapore, Thailand, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like the same person will always be like, "Oh, well, business is so good. They're so good to you in Singapore. Like, you should just do this in Singapore. Like, Cambodia wants us to be there, so you should go live in Cambodia." Well, the fuck, pack your bags and go. What's stopping you?
And here's
water right now. And
that's the thing. All you need is $2,000 basically on your credit card, and they'll let you into Cambodia, and then you just go through the process. They refund the rest of the money, and you're in Cambodia.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that was a little bit. See, here's the thing too. I think you and I have look at, dude, here's the deal. This was called Bangkok Strange long before I showed up, but it continues to be called Bangkok Strange because I'm just going to speak for myself, but I'm probably speaking for you too. The fact that Bangkok is strange, that's what makes it so freaking spectacular.
Best city in the fucking world.
Best city in the world, dude, right there.
Sure.
And
up top. Look, the strange part of Bangkok is not a bad thing. It's not a negative. When we call it Bangkok strange, we're not talking about negative shit in Bangkok. The strange stuff is positive.
I want to know, like, because so I can only see like some of the comments in the chat. Are you all? Do you have the? Which is fine. Do you have the? Because unfortunately, I can't do it right next to it on my mobile. But regardless, I'll figure this out.
So last comment was 746. The guys is and then Gotta Love Thailand. Do you have some kind of charity set up for them? No, we do not have a charity set up. We just do the work directly through our business simply because of the overhead of creating a charity for a single thing without consistent fundraising.
Yeah, and there's no real sort of tax type benefit here, much like there is for a 501c3 in the United States. That you can also have someone maintain very easily for you. It's a little bit different here. It's not like, yes, wealthy people in Thailand form charities and they give money to less people that have less stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not like the mature process that exists in the United States. But to that point, I was curious about, some of the guys that are on here, and I guess I could open up YouTube and find out how many people are watching. Oh, actually, no. StreamYard tells you how many people are watching.
Five.
Okay, cool.
Aztec just left a great. Well, that's on YouTube at least, I believe. I don't think that's aggregate from the other server. Aztec, this is great. Bangkok Strange, DMK, only city in the world with international airport that has a public golf course in between the runways. So
yeah.
So I've actually, I've been invited to play golf on that golf course. I don't play golf though, so I didn't go.
Yeah, me neither.
Just because. Like, how often can you say like you play golf in the middle of an airport? The other sort of side to that though is that I was invited to play at like 1 p.m. in April, right? So middle of the day in the hottest month of the year with no cloud cover. So I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely. Not unless I want to put like 5 years on my skin, like in one day.
Exactly. But here's the thing. So Dam Myung, DMK is the main. That's like sort of like the small regional airport. BKK Suvarnabhumi is the main airport, but that's actually not in Bangkok. That's outside Bangkok, and Dam Myung is in Bangkok proper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the BKK is in what is it? Lam Shabang? Is that what it's called?
Lac Krabang.
Lac Krabang. Okay. But here's what's interesting is
you just call it Lam Shabang.
I don't know, but look at dude, I'm new. Okay, look, here's the deal. A lot of Thai women find my inability to speak their own language adorable, so I'm running with it.
I'm sure that warms Gracie's heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, the good news, but actually, she says hi. By the way, we were chatting earlier, and she says, "Well, say hi to your friend." When you got it, honey. You got it.
Hugh, am I any louder now, Hugh?
Oh, were you? Why? Am I louder than you? No way.
Yeah,
not with this microphone.
That my volume is much lower than yours.
Really?
You shut audio processing off, right?
Stand by. I can't remember where we left it. No, I did not disable audio processing because I didn't want any feedback. You want me to disable it?
No, because it should be compressing us similar. So, Hugh, I've
it's got AGC.
Volume on my end. How does that sound now?
Thank you for this, Hugh. My guys know how much this pisses me off.
Usually StreamYard's pretty good about that. They compress the two together to similar levels. Unless I have audio processing shut off. Let me see. No, audio processing is on for me. How about now? Do I sound any different? Oh, well.
No, I know what he's talking about. The short answer is it's not doing a real good job of limiting me. There's a little bit of you probably hear it in your headphones. I sound like I'm almost over modding, right?
Well, so yeah. Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's because of your mic. I don't know because you're
yeah.
into the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing I can do, unfortunately. There's no gain control. I've actually...
Better, but still uneven.
Let's see what he says.
Let me see. Let me take a look at my my settings.
Yeah, I'm overdriven. Yeah, that does bum me out. I wish I could, like,
yeah, they're saying you have overdriven sound, like a kitchen radio in the 80s. Nice.
Yeah, no, I know. That's friggin' spectacular, isn't it? Considering what I normally... All right, I've got to buy a big boy laptop.
But so I cannot change. So I would basically have to just crank my gain all the way up.
We'll turn it up. Let me see if it sounds differently. Like, what are you at right now? Because I know you're only on like 2 or 3 green LEDs.
Yeah, now I sound like all blown out when I do that.
Yeah, it doesn't. I can't really tell in my head.
Now? Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
No, don't do that. No, now you're starting to kind of freak me out.
Guts to Love Thailand says he's never listening again.
Yeah, it
doesn't. So let me see, where am I at? So I usually keep my volume around 7.
I mean, dude, here's the deal. I could move the microphone away from my face. I mean, what does it sound like right now if it's this far away from my face?
So see, now because it's away from your face, you sound a bit echoey.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm in a concrete box, aka a Thai bungalow.
Yeah, but they are concrete.
Yeah, which is good because I was actually outside this morning. I was on about an hour and a half conference call, and while the bungalow further away is not real close, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, some woman like peeks around her thing, and I went over there today. I said, "Oh my God, was I really loud?" I said, "Look, I do not have an indoor voice, and I don't know how to be quiet." And so they're like, "Oh no, we're really sorry if we like bought." They were British, I think, and they're like, really, yeah, we'll see." So there you go. But I was like, "Look, I said, look, if I'm too loud, I said, I'm going to be doing what, just come knock on my door or whatever. But I mean, I got the windows closed, I got the AC on, so I can't imagine that my voice is like going outside. But actually, dude, I got to grab something to drink. So you mess with this. I'll be back in like 20 seconds.
All right. So Hugh, I do not mind to drink lots of coffee. Mike knows I am an absolute coffee fanatic. But like 8 p.m. at night, I probably this will be the last bit of coffee I drink that I have here with me. So then I'll just be on water for the rest of the night, or else I'll never sleep. That's the problem. So I can drink it in the morning, in the afternoon, kind of like early evening, but after this, that's an issue. So maybe we need to just like we need to tire Mike out or something midday, get him to start going for jogs on the beach there in Koh Phangan. But yeah, I'm a little jealous. He's living in this bungalow on the beach for like $20 a night. These are insane prices. Usually that'd probably be more than $100 a night normally in Koh Phangan. But again, because of pandemic and we have domestic travel but no international visitors, one of the strange things about Thailand now is that you can stay somewhere for basically free. $23 a night for a bungalow on the beach is essentially nothing cash-wise right now. No, God, no. Mariano, no decaf. That's horrible suggestion.
Oh my God! So here's what's so funny about decaf. The only place I have ever seen decaf advertised here in Thailand, the entire country, is at that 93 place. Walking over to your house one day, I look up, I'm like, there's a giant sign that says decaf. I'm like, I can't believe Dana lives near this place. I can't believe he hasn't set fire to it.
The place made of shipping containers, right?
Yeah, exactly. They got like a 3 Series BMW in there. You know?
They've actually got like they make pretty good coffee there. They use Thai beans.
Oh, dude. Oh, okay, that's cool.
I was just talking about how I'm a little bit jealous that you're paying $23 a night for a bungalow on the beach.
Yeah, it's 700 baht, and here's the thing: is that not only would it be even cheaper, of course, if I bought a week, right? But like I'm on my second night, I'm going to pay tomorrow. I'm going to be here 3 nights at least because I just love it here. It's great. But she said, well, if you get to the point where you've been here like 5 days, then you don't need to pay us for the next 2. You can just stay. I'm like, wait, I don't have to commit to a week first. She's like, no. Just by the time you basically get to what we would normally charge, then you can just stay. And I'm like, clearly the Thais hate all foreigners.
They're getting ready to kill you on the beach.
Yeah, they're going to basically have a coup. You know what I'm going to do, dude? I have a tip ring sleeve to TRS input, and I can hook this microphone up to the phone. I'm going to try that. We'll see what it sounds like.
Yeah, but then what do you do for headphones then?
I put it in the other. It's got mic and headphone split. Yeah, pretty nice, right? Totally. Yeah, so stand by.
So we're going to do a little live experiment here. So Mike, you're muted. We can't hear you, Mike. I don't know if you can hear us. But you're not muted. You're just no audio input. Who knew? Nope, nothing coming through, at least for me. Let me mute you and unmute you. See if that resets your audio. Nope. So, nope, nothing. I hope you guys are enjoying this live.
1 2.
There we go.
1 2.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the microphone that I will occasionally do a live stream. It's the same microphone that I used when I was at the coffee shop on Sunday. How does it sound?
Not bad at all.
Sounds a little bit better. And I bet if I talk into it like this, it actually sounds okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if you talk right into
it. Do you know how I know it's a condenser mic? Because this is the brand and the model. $6.
Oh wow, $6.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I probably put $8 worth of new capacitors in it. But right, yeah. And then I used this trick that I used to use years ago when I was a kid, and I had my radio station in my basement. I took a pillow, like that white fluffy stuff that's in pillows.
Yeah.
And I shoved that inside of all of basically the open air inside of the microphone, so there's no echo like inside the actual case of it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that helps bring in the warm mids versus spending $2,500 on a Neumann.
No, just spend the $2,500.
Yeah, I should spend. God, a good laptop's only at fucking $1,200. I really just need to suck it up, don't I?
So Marino says it costs $17 in Germany. I'm sorry for the sidetrack. No worries, Hugh. Trust me, if we went back and listened to this later and heard it, we'd be kicking ourselves.
Wait, what is Hugh to what say? I believe Mike is a bit like me in that jogging will happen when a nearby volcano erupts. Or at gunpoint, I'm getting to the point grinding coffee beans in the AM, but tea in the PM. Absolutely, dude. Good for you. You're efficient.
Yeah, so I drink green tea all day as well. My big cup. I usually drink I'll make 800 milliliters of coffee in the morning.
That's that big case that you drink.
Yeah, the 1 liter French press. Some of you guys might be drinking my mason jar, my ball jar.
I was gonna say I love mason jars, dude.
And and Stick Boy was making fun of calling it a jam jar. He's clearly British.
Wait, is he on here now, or is he just because he was bitching about our broadcast before, right? Yeah.
Yeah. As he was calling it a jam jar, I was like, clearly European. Jam jar my ass. So after I have that first morning coffee, then I'll drink, and I grind my beans fresh in the morning. I use Thai. I like Thai coffee, so I have a Arabica from northern Thailand. I know Mike's become sort of a Robusta convert, but I'm not a fan of the flavor of Robusta.
You also need to remember, though, that coffee and food for me is like I eat to live. I do not live to eat. Like I literally, if it tastes good, that's academically interesting, but I really don't care. And so for coffee, it's like I want something that tastes fairly good to me, which therefore means all I have to do is put sugar in it. And I want it to be super fast. Like, I don't want to spend any, like, you like the process. I do not. I want results. I literally, if I could just do this and bam, there would be coffee there, that's what I will pay for.
See, but I want results too. I just want those results to be good.
You want, yeah, and your definition of good is infinitely different than mine. And I am looking for basically, not necessarily caffeine, because I mean, I can, like the other day I realized that towards the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I haven't had any caffeine today. And it wasn't like I was going to pass out. I wasn't having a massive headache. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. But I like the results of a moderate amount of caffeine. If I have too much caffeine where I can say that to myself, oh my God, I must have had too much caffeine, then that's not good. I don't want that.
So that's Jib with like 1 cup of coffee. She'll be like, oh, my heart's racing. She gets the shakes. Like,
what about tea?
No, like if she just like, so I should say if she has 2 cups, like she'll drink a cup of coffee in the morning, but if she has 2 cups of coffee, like or like a bigger than usual cup, she knows. Me, like,
did she do this?
Like, yeah. Where for me, 800 milliliters of coffee, yeah, it's good. It's okay, breakfast.
Okay, you also weigh how much more than her? 2.3 times?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, exactly. What does she weigh? She probably weighs like, what, 45, 50 kilos? Because she's taller than Gracie, I think.
Maybe like 49.
Okay.
48. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Gracie's like 40. She's just over 40. It depends. She's been trying to like build up the muscle in her legs for years. Like she'll run and then she'll like eat different foods. Sorry?
Filipinos are tiny though.
Oh yeah. No, she's small. Yeah.
When I went to Manila, I felt like Godzilla.
Dude, like walking in a mall or like when you're basically part of a pack, like they're all like up to, because you know we're both basically 6'2", you know, and yeah, it's an interesting experience because they all kind of like are like, hello, sir.
Yeah, it was definitely. I think I told you about the prostitutes that tried to pick me up at Greenbelt, right?
No, but of course they did. That's what prostitutes do. That's their job.
I was in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
So
that's the Philippines.
So, but I mean, you still know Greenbelt, right?
In Cebu, you mean, right? Or in Manila?
No, in Makati.
Makati? No, I don't. I've heard of it, but no, I've never been there.
Okay, so Makati is a neighborhood in Manila. A lot of tech startups there, and there's this group of like 4 malls called Greenbelt, and there's like a whole like outdoor area like the size of multiple football fields inside Greenbelt. And there's you got to go through security and stuff to get in. They check everyone for guns and like basically they poke you with a stick and to see if you have a gun. Which I found weird.
No, they have a drumstick and they shove it in your purse too. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the guys who I met when I was recording my show there, we were literally recording across the street from Greenbelt. And we went out for tapas one night inside this restaurant in the outdoor area at Greenbelt. And we're sitting down, we're having a drink, eating some tapas, and these 2 girls come over and sit next to us and just start talking to us. And like literally 2 minutes into the conversation, they're like, like 3,000 pesos, whatever you want. And I'm like, what?
That's a little aggressive.
Yeah. And I'm like really uncomfortable at this point. And I'm like, I don't think so. Thanks though. This is like a shopping mall. It's not what I came here for. Apparently they're different than Thailand. And
yeah,
like, oh, change your mind, we'll be over here. And then like they basically just went to the next table and started talking to another guy.
Yeah.
And like I could hear her make the same pitch.
I was amazed with the McDonald's there. When I would go into McDonald's, and again, part of this was in Angeles City, but it was also in Boracay.
Yeah.
And so you go into McDonald's, sit down. I mean, girls would just literally wham, come right up, sit right down, start talking to me. Some of them, this one girl, she sat down, grabs my phone, and of course I'm like, okay, well, I doubt she's stealing it because she only weighs about 4 kilos more than my phone weighs. And And so I'm like, all right, what's she doing? And she like just opens it and she literally adds herself to
WhatsApp probably
WhatsApp, yeah. And then she goes, okay, here, and then she like sends me this big like smiley face, and I'm like, okay. And she didn't like get up, like she wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna be really cool, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna, and I'm thinking, you know that I'm white, and therefore you know that I actually enjoy McDonald's hamburgers. Like this is really my priority right now. You're attractive, but this fucking thing tastes good.
Do you eat a Jollibee when you're in the Philippines?
Oh, so gross. Disgusting food.
Everyone says that. Obviously, there's nothing there I can eat.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now, Gracie does like the chicken. She likes the fried chicken, but she does like KFC is better. But their spaghetti is pretty popular. You've obviously had the spaghetti sauce in the Philippines that has like a pound of sugar added to it.
No, because they add meat to everything, so I can't eat anything.
Oh yeah, I guess maybe they do. Even the spaghetti sauce, they probably add pork. They add pork to everything.
There's like only like 3 in Manila. I know basically 3 spots I can eat pretty safely. Jollibee is
vegetarian
not on the list.
No, absolutely not.
So basically 2 Mexican spots and a Filipino vegan place.
Oh, and the Mexican place will make like what, like vegan, like bean and cheese burrito kind of thing, or what?
No cheese. It's just like veggie burrito.
So veggie burrito,
like,
okay.
Like a Filipino version of Chipotle. It's called Chihuahua.
Are you shitting me?
No.
The Filipino version of Chipotle is called Chihuahua. Yes. It's probably because they didn't know how to fucking spell it. They probably thought, no, this is Chipotle. Yeah, but you spelled it like the dog. They're like, well, right. I mean, it's Chipotle. No, that's Chihuahua. No, Kihuahua. It says Kihuahua. Okay. I'm not going to harp on people that I truly love.
Really good food.
I could not find really good food anywhere in the Philippines. I found food that was okay, but
yeah, I had some dope vegan tacos at this spot in the red light district that my friend Roz took me to.
Red light in Makati? I mean, in Manila?
Yeah, just outside Makati. She owns a co-working space / cafe called Commune in just outside Makati, but like literally I'm like 20 feet away from the red light district. And so her and her boyfriend took me and my producer all around the red light district, and like we went to different bars and restaurants, and they took us to this vegan place. It's literally underground. Like you walk into this building, and it's like 10 steps down. It's definitely a fire hazard because like, you can see the wiring, and there's like only one entrance and exit, and then right at the entrance.
You're like, is this wrong? Is there any need for me to be concerned while I'm having your food here?
But yeah, I liked Manila, but like I definitely could not live there. Like
it's a dump.
Yeah, well, Makati's okay, but like after 3 days, 4 days, it's like you're really like, you've overstayed your welcome in Makati.
Here's the thing about the Philippines, and actually, I dislike talking. I dislike telling the truth about my opinion of the Philippines, because I think literally every single person I met there was like actually very, at a minimum, they were pleasant. The majority of them were pretty damn nice to me, and they're great. The problem is that, I mean, partially it's the government, but it's also just sort of, historically their culture versus others.
Yep.
Is, they have this, they don't treat their citizens as well as they do.
Yeah.
And there's the pride of the Filipino, but then there's also like this, desire to like, well, yeah, but I'm out for myself. I mean, I'm a Filipino and I love that, but I'm also out for myself. Now, I'm not saying great. There's actually 2 sort of camps. There's the ones that have, they're more of in a modern city like Cebu or Iloilo or, Manila, that sort of thing. And then there's like Gracie and her family and because those people in the village, they're great. They're wonderful. But they're squelched. Precisely, but they're squelched. I mean, like I'm in there and I'm like, why the hell don't you have fast internet? It is so freaking easy to provide fast internet.
But it's not. They're an archipelago, right? So there's all types of geographical challenges.
Dude, the Huck fiber, they're not so far apart. You know?
You still have to deal with, boats, trolling over fiber,
Oh, come on. The world has figured that solution out. Huawei Undersea they're exceptional. They do a great job. That's who has the fiber between Cambodia over to Rayong down to Singapore. That's all Huawei, right? And
so that's all over land, though.
No, undersea.
Yeah, from Rayong to Singapore, but from Cambodia to Rayong is over land.
No, it used to be. I think it was either 2, maybe 3 years ago. They got their first undersea cable that Huawei
is also very deep.
Huh?
So, like between the islands in the Philippines, some of that water is very shallow.
Right, but I mean, it's not shallow enough where you're going to in other words, you're not going to install it where you're like, look, dude, if a big barge comes through here, it's going to churn up the soil in the bottom. You don't put it there, right?
Yeah, but sometimes there are issues to running, undersea submarine cable, especially around an archipelago.
I agree, because there's actually probably more movement underneath, and I agree with that. But additionally, because of their proximity, using RF is hardly out of the question. I mean, you get some friggin' 3-meter Andrew dishes, and you can huck that stuff, straight across.
No doubt.
Point as
well.
For sure. And so that's why it just, dude, put it this way. Think about how awesome the internet is in Hawaii. And again, it's not an archipelago. But the point is that the world has figured out how to get the internet to islands.
True.
And it's just
think of the resource difference between Hawaii and Boracay.
Oh no, absolutely, I get it. I get it. And but the thing is that they don't. At least I don't think they do. I don't believe that the leadership there sees the benefit to their entire country at providing better internet to they have the dubious honor of having the worst internet in Southeast Asia. Dude.
Worse than Laos?
I believe so. Because again, in Laos, you only need about 6 towers and you're good, right? Yeah. But
people in the country?
Yeah, or whatever. And they're probably all roaming, from the spillover from Cambodia and Thailand and Vietnam. Yeah, maybe. But anyway. So the point is that there's imperfection there. But let me ask you this: what's the strangest thing that's happened to you because my thought was I just had the strangest thing happen to me, and I sent you pictures of that bird.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was awesome, but it was strange to the point of what we're talking about, where it's dude, Bangkok strange is basically synonymous with Bangkok fucking amazeballs. It's basically the same word. And so my strange bird, what happened to you this week? Because I know that you went to that appointment. You've been out and about.
Yeah. Yes, I went down to a denim factory for a client to talk with a denim mill about producing some jeans for this client of mine that I designed the line for them, and we're going to produce. But because you have a bird story, I'm going to see if I can find this photo.
Of what? Of the denim?
No, it's a bird story.
Oh! Just bring up the video that I sent you online.
No, I want to show you this. I have my own bird story.
Oh, get out of here! Nobody's got a bird story as good as my bird story. Certainly in last week.
Well, it's not from the last week. This is from 3 years ago, but still.
All right, fair enough. So you're pulling it out of the archives. That's fair.
Yeah. Airdropping it to my computer now. Mike's not a Mac guy, so he doesn't get all the benefits I get of having one ecosystem.
Dude, trust me, I was a Mac guy, and I never went iPhone. I just was like, this thing is not
greatest phone ever.
I disagree. But what? Okay, so great. So look, there's a picture of Dana right next to 2 big cocks. Like, how is that? I mean, did the comedy write itself?
So it's always possible to run into a random cock in the middle of Bangkok.
Yeah, that's why they call it Bangkok, not Krung Thep.
This was downtown. This is Pong.
Okay. Oh, ritzy.
Yeah. So I'm in Pong and I'm walking by a pharmacy and there's two roosters just chilling. like not giving a fuck, just hanging out in front of this pharmacy. I sat down, took this photo with them, like no issue.
I'm trying to think if I've been in a very like modern, because Pong you could argue certainly around the BTS, right? It's very very modern. But I mean, Pong Law is like pretty expensive now. But if you go like a few blocks out of BTS, isn't there like a slum on the east side? The east side of BTS?
Further than a few blocks. Is
it further?
A couple kilometers.
Okay, but that's not. And you're only 1.5-ish kilometers in. So I mean, it would be.
Last year, I saw a chicken in Terminal 21.
Nice.
Just hanging.
Did it have a mask on?
No.
Dude, I would have been like so psyched.
Pre-COVID.
Did you mount it? I mean, did you like snap its neck and be like, "Oh, dude, I'm taking this to the food court. They are gonna fry this baby up for me."
Maybe that's where it escaped from.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, they were like, "Look, dude, if you want fresh chicken, this is what you're gonna have to accept."
So I would definitely say that the food court in Terminal 21 is like next level for like mall food courts. Like that's legit Thai street food and it's cheap.
It is pretty good. Actually, David, believe it or not, was the one who told me that he believes that's the best food court. And so I went with him.
Now I disagree.
And now, of course you do. But so he took me and I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. I will tell you though, the food court at the Terminal 21 in Pattaya, that is really good. That is much better.
I've not been to that food court.
Have you been to the mall?
No, and I've not been to that Terminal 21 at all.
It's a better design because you know how like Terminal 21 Bangkok is like straight up, right? But it doesn't really have a whole lot of And the nice thing about where they were down there is that it's pretty wide, and of course then there's like a hotel above and stuff too.
So but is the Terminal 21 in Pattaya the same country layout, like the same theme?
Yeah, they have like they have a Golden Gate Bridge, and then they have the
Caribbean down on the ground level. Then you go up to whatever the fuck the BTS level is.
Japan.
Yeah.
What they don't have though, that I think is really cool with the Terminal 21 in Bangkok, is that one escalator that is like a kilometer long. That takes you from the bottom floor to like how many? 3 or 4? That
you go up, so you start on the not ground level, but one
level. The BTS level.
Yeah. You go up 3 levels, 3 additional levels.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I remember when you look behind you and you're like, holy crap, I better not fall down these, dude. This is like, I need some mountain climbing gear.
You're in the middle of the fucking mall going up this escalator.
Yeah.
No,
and you're like, wait
I was on that escalator, this was maybe like a year ago, going up, and the fucking woman in front of me gets off and stops.
Like right at the top?
Right at the top.
So it's like people are falling into her.
I just walked through her.
That must have been startling.
With the BTS, like if I'm getting off the BTS and someone is standing in front of the doors, I just walk. Right?
I do say Katorka.
Now, I'm a stickler for the rules, man. Like, and plus, like, it's clearly marked for the BTS. Like, stand to the side, wait for motherfuckers to get off, and then walk in.
Yeah, see, I haven't been as hardened yet. I haven't lived here as long. I'm like, oh, excuse me.
No, fuck that, right? If you're in front of the doors when they open, and I'm exiting the train,
it's all bets. Well, see, actually, so here's next time we travel together on the BTS, here's what I'll do, is I'll basically kind of just like pat my hand on the girl's ass that's closest to you, and then I'll just walk around her while you're walking right through her, because what's the worst thing that could happen?
Gracie's heart when she hears that.
Yeah.
You're like, internet's bad on the island, no big deal.
Yeah, there's no way. She just rolls her eyes at this stuff. She's like, "Oh my god, what are you even talking?"
I'm like, what the fuck? No,
Yeah.
The one time I was at Siam Station waiting to get on the train, and this like fat white woman, like maybe like 60.
Aren't they all fat though? To begin with, I mean, let's be honest.
Well, so she's wearing like a fucking like tank top and like
stretch pants.
She's on her phone talking, and she like stands right in front of the thing. So I'm like, hey, you're not supposed to stand in front of the doors, because you gotta wait for people to come off. Like, you gotta follow the arrows. And she's like, oh, I know. I'm like, bitch, clearly you don't. Or otherwise you wouldn't be standing in front of the thing. She's like, there's no train coming. It doesn't matter if there's a train coming or not. It's here for a reason. These systems make transport smooth. There's a reason that the BTS SkyTrain is so fucking awesome, is because they thought about, all right, when you go up the escalator, stand to the right, walk to the left. When you're at the wait with the arrows are, let people come off, then get on. Right? And then Thai people do a very good, for the most part, 90% of Thai people do a good job of like just functioning as a decent human on the train. 9 times out of 10, when I see someone fucking up on the train, it's a foreigner.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? But
dude, tell me about. I mean, we could go on and on, because here's the thing. Like, talk about Bangkok strange. I come to Bangkok, and the strange part was like everyone is being appropriate, like the entire fucking society. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like standing on the left, and I'm like looking around, going, holy shit! I like move right over. I'm like, whoa! I got to be part of this flow, dude. This is efficient. All these people must be engineers. I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah, and then the MRT is different, because like you're not supposed to walk at all. Those escalators move at twice the speed.
Agreed. Yes, they have all the signs that like, whatever you do not walk. And then you get on the other one, you're like, wait a minute, I was supposed to walk on the left. They're like, no, not underground, buddy. Underground, you stationary.
You're going to have your shit together if you're going from Sukhumvit MRT to Asok BTS.
Yes, you got to be able to make the delta.
Yeah.
Luckily, on the way, you could grab a great piece of pizza and a Dunkin' Donut. Bam, that changes your life.
Good to go. You know, that pizza window at Paula, like midday, that's a game changer.
Oh, you do takeout?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I thought you liked the experience inside. I mean, it's pretty nice inside.
But I love the fucking pizza too.
Yeah, no, that's fair. How come? Okay, so how do you get it delivered again? Because so if you guys don't know, like Grab Food, Food Panda, so easy to get any food delivered. Almost. There is a finite distance that some of them will travel. So how do you get, whether it's Paula Pizza or basically something that you really like the taste of that's far away from us, how do you get that to us?
All right, so Paula is the only one I do this for, because Paula is the only one worth doing it for. Now, my favorite burger place that makes a dope vegan burger, but they also make legit beef burgers, will go when you're back. Called Prime over in Pong. Like, they're on the very cusp of delivering to me, so they probably won't deliver to you.
Oh, yeah, right, because I'm another, basically, what, kilometer and a half? Well, no, kilometer.
Yeah, from 93, yeah.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So, like, I think 93, they might make it out to, like, 101. I don't know. Like, you'd have to try from your place. But if I want Paula, what we'll do is we'll call an order in. Right, we'll call the order from the phone. Oh,
like you're gonna pick it up?
Yeah, and then we'll tell them that we're gonna order a Grab for pickup. Jib will order a Grab for pickup to pick it up for us, and like a delivery.
Right.
She'll transfer the cash for the order to the driver.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll pay by a transfer when he gets to the restaurant, the money that we transferred to him, and then bring us the food.
I get it. Okay. So if you guys don't know, there's Grab, okay, which is like everyone says they're the Uber of, Asia.
So they basically, when Uber left, Grab filled the void.
Yeah, I think the more appropriate statement is to say that Uber is the Grab of the United States.
Yeah.
Because Grab is, I mean, anyway, the point is that you don't just order cars. You can order food and that sort of thing. But what he's talking about is they actually have basically a courier service, which is Grab delivery. And you can be like, look, dude, I need you to go to some record shop and pick up something that I've got. I need you to go to a law firm. That's probably more of what you're probably used to, like if you're in a big city in America. I need you to law firm, you know, from point to point. I need you to go to this hardware store and pick up something that I've basically left at will call kind of thing. And so to be able to do that with food is pretty awesome because I figured the guy would be like, look, dude, I pick up stuff. Like, I'm not going to do the whole food thing. So that's all. Have you ever had anyone like bitch be like, no, dude, we can't pick up food. We can pick up anything else. Do they care?
Never.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because they're Thai and Bangkok's fucking awesome.
Mariano says Grab is the WeChat of the free world. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Grab is pretty.
Wallet, so you can like top up the Grab wallet and pay with that.
You probably can because you have a Thai wife and you can get around that. I cannot connect to Grab wallet because I'm not a Thai citizen.
Benefits.
Yeah. That's all right. I'm sticking with my Pina. I'm sticking with the Mighty Gracie.
So yeah, the Grab wallet is good, but it's really only good for Grab, right? Whereas WeChat, I remember last time I was in China, like everything was fucking WeChat. I couldn't buy food at 7-Eleven.
WeChat Pay.
WeChat Pay.
Yeah.
And like when I was there, they had just outlawed foreigners from having Chinese bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So all the foreigners that lived in Hong Kong were like the exception because they had Hong Kong bank accounts. But the upside was that all my Hong Kong friends paid for everything.
Totally. Yeah. No. That oh, sorry. I can't. You know. I mean, I would if I could, man.
I would if I could. But I don't have the weed. And like, oh, don't worry.
Like, I'll get the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big win.
Most of the time, that whole trip, the Chinese government was paying for everything. I told you about that the time the government provided prostitutes at the after party.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me. I mean, it's a different model in the rest of the world. It is so different than the U.S. The whole prostitution thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, if you ever watch like movies or like stuff from the U.S. and it's like prostitutes are like 700-pound toothless women who are like meth addicts, and you know,
and here they're college students.
Yeah, in Thailand they're like models
and college students. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, now the college students, they're not prostitutes; they're sugar babies.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and we're not customers. We're guests.
Yes.
Okay.
Sugar daddies.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I like sugar, so you know.
You do have a sweet tooth.
That's true.
You do have a sweet tooth. Actually, what weren't sugar daddies?
Big time, dude. I got to tell you. Oh, you can still get sugar daddies. Google it right now. They'll show you an image of one at 7-Eleven back home.
Yeah, it's like it comes in like a yellow and red wrapper, right? And it like sticks to your teeth, and like you eat one, and you have to have like 6 teeth removed.
No, well, that's the problem, is that if you don't do it correctly and you pull it off of your teeth, your fillings will come right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course, you need a rich man to help you with your dental work, hence the name Sugar Daddy. You see it all.
We also had one called Sugar Babies, which were like little M&M size pieces
dots.
The same material. Basically, corn syrup with like starch in it.
Well, I believe it's like kind of like isn't it like kind of super hard caramel center, like that they use the whole high fructose corn syrup to manufacture, and then they dip it in chocolate or something, right?
It's been decades since I fucking had candy like that.
Do you eat candy at all now, like cookies, ice cream?
So when I'm in KL, right, they have the vegan Ben and Jerry's, and so we fucking get that.
Yeah.
And eat like one pint is like 1,600 calories, I think, and I'll eat like 3 pints in like 4 days.
Done. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's smart.
So, but no, like here, so ice cream in Thailand, if you want non-dairy ice cream, they have ice cream boran. Not ice cream, is it ice cream boran? Actually, I got a funny story about this. Let's see if Jib. Let me see if Jib will come up and tell this story with me, because this involves when we first started dating. Oh, this is why I wasn't seeing. For some reason, Jib's notifications are turned off. Oh, that was strange. I'm gonna
just cruise down and get her. Just go. Don't message her. I mean, at least open the door. Honey, can you? Mike needs to know how to pronounce the fucking island he's on.
No, so even when we're sitting at the desk together, I'll message her
from across the desk.
Like if she's got her headphones in, I'll just shoot her a message.
Headphone? Okay, yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, okay, that sort of makes sense. I mean, it's gay, but I get it.
Well, just like the other day, she's eating. So
a Thai girl? That's weird.
She's eating dinner.
That's bizarre. Didn't you let her eat yesterday? I mean, kind of giving her a lot of slack there. Here's the other thing that's really strange in Bangkok is the rain. The rain will come, and then again, there's sort of the default intensity of rain in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
The flooding, though, in Bangkok, it's like efficient flooding. Like it floods like crazy in certain areas, but then I'm thinking 15, maybe 20 minutes. It's down. It's done. Right? Or no?
So it depends. Like when it rains hard here.
Yeah.
You're right. The intensity of tropical rain is way different than that East Coast or that West Coast rain. Even
West Coast rain is ridiculous. It's like someone who's accidentally left their sprinkler system on. East Coast thunderstorms in the summer, that can be energetic rain.
The only rain I've ever seen in the U.S. that was close was in Miami.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, Florida. Absolutely, I agree. Yeah.
So I asked Jib to help me tell this story. She says, "No, you've told it 1,000,000 times."
Not on Bangkok Strange. We actually, because I made that. I was just jotting down a whole bunch of topics one day, and there were a couple in there that I'm like, dude, we got to bring Jib on because we have to get a Thai person's perspective. And.
So rain. I'll talk about rain. When I first moved here, I remember my first rainy season. I was in the dorm, and I think I told you I had this shitty dorm with no windows. So I'm on the interior of the fucking building.
Because they hate foreigners.
Yeah, because they were about to kill us in the streets.
See, now he's distracted by his wife. Look how whipped he is. Oh, my God. Jesus.
After she's done eating, come up and tell this story with me.
Yeah, so, she's Thai. She's going to be eating for the next week.
No. So Jib's very good with portion control. But she
does
eat
agreed, yeah. She does that good, yeah.
So I'm in the dorm. I'm in this shitty interior room with no window. Now, keep in mind, the bathroom had a fucking window. Doesn't have a window,
but nowhere else.
So, the other guy had a fucking window. But why would you make a room that has? Why would you make a dorm that has a room with no window? And then why would you replicate that over 5 floors for the fucking 2 buildings?
That's where they're gonna put the foreigners.
So I hear this noise outside. What the fuck is that noise?
Like bang, 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 or is it a white noise?
It sounds like fucking like traffic or something.
Okay.
And so I pop my head out, and I look, and it's fucking. You can't even see outside. It's just a wall of fucking water.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
I'm like, what the fuck? And so I go downstairs and I go outside, and it's just water, fucking flowing. I'm like, God damn! I've never seen rain like that.
It is intense, and it usually lasts no more than an hour at that intensity. Or have you experienced it longer?
It can last long. Like I've been at night. It will rain all night long.
That's true. Actually, yeah, it started raining an hour ago here, and that happens a lot more here. I've noticed on the islands because the dew point drops, right, and so the temperature drops, and so the dew point, it hits that, bam. I mean, and the clouds are just soaked with humidity, right? So it's like,
when I used to ride my motorcycle a lot, I remember coming back from Patumtani and driving down Wipavadi, and like you just saw it. It went from sunny to black.
Yes.
And then it just poured rain and the streets flooded. And it rained
Right.
for like 40 minutes. And then it stopped. And then like 20 minutes after the rain stops, the flooding is essentially subsided. But
yeah.
It's then humid as fuck because everything's so wet, and it's still 100 degrees. So it rains like crazy, and it's just now it's like unbearably humid to get around. But there's some interesting spots. Like if you go by Kesasat University on Wipavadi, they've got a pumping system that will pump water out from the campus into these sort of drainage canals. And so like if it just rained, you'll be driving down Wipavadi and you'll just see like these like meter wide pipes, two of them right next to each other, just spewing water.
Oh yes, I've seen those.
No.
I walk by, on a sunny day, and I'm like, why the hell would these be here?
Yeah, because the campus is made to flood, right? And so this is made to, to get some of that water out. And actually, Kesasat has alligators on campus, so every now and then when there's like a little bit of flooding, they'll have like an alligator will get loose.
I love that, dude. I was like driving my motorbike here. I'm cruising down this road, and I come around this corner, and bam, there is easily a meter-long monitor lizard on the road. And I'm like, and now I see them, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But when I first saw them, of course, in my mind, I think, Hollywood. I'm like, they're going to jump. They're going to, like, lunge after me and, like, wrap their tail around, like, boa constrictor. And they're just so docile, and they look at you, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Very, very big legs on that white one. I got to stay away.
When I was at Thammasat, there's a whole part of the TU campus that's not really developed yet. Like
really?
Future use or whatever. There's a lot of like open land. This is a huge fucking campus out in Patumtani in Rangsit. And the parts that are developed are really nice. And actually, Jib told me when she was at Mehedong that her faculty it wasn't even really developed. There was no streetlights or anything. So now that whole part of the faculty is like really built up. Actually, I've got two monitor lizard stories. One about TU, one about MU. And so when I was at Thammasat, I would drive around the back part of the campus to get out on a different road, so I didn't have to wait in traffic on my scooter. And I remember coming down one of those side roads one day, and I see something up ahead in the road. I'm like, it kind of looks like a monitor lizard, but I can't really tell what it is. Like, what's that? I drive up on it. And it's a monitor lizard dragging, I believe, what looks like a stray dog that it killed across the street. And so as I get closer, now I'm like maybe like 30, 40 feet away. It looks back and like kind of sees me. It's got this dog's neck in its mouth. And it just kind of scurries across the street into the water with the dog's body.
I didn't realize they were crazy-ass carnivores. I thought they were like, I guess they're omnivores, maybe? I thought they were vegetarians, basically.
One time when I first started dating Jib and she was working at Mehedong's Institute of Nutrition, I would go there and like I would meet her after work and we would go grab dinner and like hang out, and then I'd drop her off at home. And so I would drive my motorcycle up and I would like park it like right at her faculty, and there was a coffee shop at her faculty. Really good coffee shop too, and they would buy J or vegan like snacks, and so they always had like these little agar snacks with coconut milk that you could buy for like literally 10 baht for like a bag of little agar snacks, which is
I love that.
Free, right?
Yes,
like,
free.
It was Thai coffee price, so Stuck in Florida says they're carnivores.
Really?
They have monitor lizards in Florida too.
I did not know that. I mean, I know they had alligators or crocodiles or whatever. I don't even know the difference, but I guess one of them was like fresh water. One of them saltwater.
So I'm chilling at this cafe, you know, Thai price cafe, but it's a nice air conditioned cafe. But they've got like a shaded area outside on one of the I don't know if it's a lock or like these man-made ponds around the campus.
Oh, yeah.
They've got like a little deck, like a little dock that's floated out there, and it's covered so that there's no direct sunlight. So it's a cool day, not humid. And so I'm sitting outside, drinking coffee, eating these little agar snacks. I've got my iPad open. I'm doing some work on my iPad. And just, you know, chilling. I've got like maybe an hour until Jib gets out of work, maybe not even. And I'm working on the iPad, and I sit back for a minute, and I look down, and I shit you not, a 2 meter long fucking monitor between my legs,
awesome,
under the table.
Yeah.
And my big goofy ass, I fucking get startled and fall backwards onto the walkway. Now it's like just like a little metal like garden chair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I fall back in this. My legs come up, obviously. You know,
hit the table.
You know, I fucking kick the table upside down. Fucking my coffee and iPad go flying, and the fucking monitor lizard fucking turns around and runs away.
He's like, "What are you doing?"
The people next to me look over like, "What the fuck?" And then they see the monitor lizard, they freak out.
Right.
And they fucking take off. What the fuck?
Leave you there.
Yeah. Like, holy shit. You know, I ended up back up. The woman who owns the or who works at the coffee shop comes out, helps me up, fucking gets my iPad, makes me another coffee,
drives it off, brings it out.
I'm gonna go sit inside.
You're like, wow, thank God that girl that I'm trying to pick up, Jib, isn't here yet, because
yeah, she would have just kept walking, like turned the other way. Oh, I guess I'm taking the bus.
Send your message. Yeah, I can't make it. Real late. A lot of traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah. So that was the my second monitor lizard encounter. But yeah, that was the closest one I ever had. Like literally, like an inch from my fucking leg.
Where is this coffee shop? What university?
Mahidol.
You're gonna have to take me over there, dude, because I love university.
Mahidol.
Yeah. Mahidol.
Parung had a seizure. Oh, monitor lizard. Okay.
Wait, didn't Stuck say he's got like shitloads of rain or something going on? What's the comment that I saw?
No, he said three days of rain in the last month or something.
I've had rain here all but 3 days in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
And he lives up in it's like kind of northeastern. I'm trying to remember where it is. Stuck, I'm gonna remember it. Hold on. Oh, if I had a map, I would totally know. Anyway, it's like northern. No, but up near there. Yeah.
I know very few. I don't know the geography of Florida outside like Miami and the Keys.
I love the Keys, dude. Have you been down the Keys much?
Twice.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. In December, I'm like 18 years old, and my buddy, great name, Arnie Beveridge.
That's a great name.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for an alcoholic. I'm like, I got to hang out with this guy. He's going to be a great influence.
St. Augustine. Lives in St.
Augustine. St. Augustine, yes. Thank you, Stuck. Sorry, buddy, I forgot. And he's like, yeah, let's go down to the Florida Keys. I'm thinking, okay, fine. It's December, right, in Boston. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, so we drive down. And, of course, we're like 18, 19. We drive straight. 27 hours, Jolt Cola, doing...
Rhode Island to Florida, fucking straight through.
95, baby, all day long.
Jolt
and... Dude, you get down to Georgia and you start stopping at Starvin' Marvin's for those shitty ass burgers. So we get down there and I'm like, oh my God.
Was it South Carolina?
Oh yeah, and you open your windows and it smells like cigarette smoke everywhere because they grow the tobacco there.
Yeah.
Well, that was great fun. But I'm down there in December and I'm like, wait a minute. It's 90 degrees outside and the water is warm and clean. I'm like, this is possible. It was like my first introduction to the tropics because, of course, in the winter in Boston, I'm like, okay, so if we get less than like 6 feet of snow this winter, that's a slow winter.
Yeah.
And man, it was such a great. I fell in love with the Florida Keys. I was there for like 4 years in a row. Went back, and then didn't go back until about 3 years ago. And the most interesting thing about it was that I went back to all the similar beaches that I went to when I was like in my late or early 20s. And son of a bitch, if like the beaches, I mean, because it had been 20 years.
Yeah.
The beaches were significantly less deep because, the water's rising, right? I mean, climate change. And I was amazed because what I've noticed they do around here in Thailand is they just simply huck a shitload of sand on the beach.
Yeah.
But in Florida, they're not doing that. And I'm going, dude, like, these are keys. Like, you've got to keep the island.
Yeah, above
and
what Singapore's doing. Singapore's buying sand from Indonesia and just
yeah. Well, aren't they also making like man-made islands for like other stuff? Like, aren't they making ones to do like landfill or something?
Yeah, they're expanding the main island, and they've got like little extra islands. Actually, one of the islands in Singapore recently found they rescued like elephants that were trying to swim over from Malaysia.
I didn't know elephants would default to swimming if they had to get from point A to point B.
Somehow they ended up in the canal, the Singaporean canal. And
don't they have a bridge, right? Isn't there a bridge between
Woodland and Johor Bahru?
Yeah.
But Johor Bahru is an interesting city in Malaysia. I don't know if you've ever been.
No, I've never been, but I did want to do. I mean, I wanted to stay in Singapore a lot longer, but the only reasons we were there were basically the first time was to do a layover. You did that like 23.5-hour layover thing.
Yeah.
But then the other time I was there for a conference. I was at the Sands for the Microsoft conference, and so other than that, it was just kind of like I was traveling, and so that was a bummer because we never really spent a whole lot of time there. Because honestly, I mean, yeah, it was expensive, but it wasn't any more expensive than San Diego.
Yeah. Stuck in Florida.
With the exception of
excellent swimmers have been found 50 miles offshore.
I had no idea. Have you ever seen one like swimming, like above its head in water? And
only in the zoo.
They have that much water? I've never seen an elephant in a pool that deep.
Yeah. One of the zoos I went to in the U.S. had elephants they had like a little pond for them.
So you lived in Boston, New York, and Ohio. Sure, California, but like, so for example, like many people will be like, oh my God, San Diego Zoo is the best zoo ever.
San Diego
and of course,
is fucking phenomenal.
It's a decent zoo, but at the end of the day, the goddamn animals are behind a friggin' wire. So what?
Cleveland
wild animal
was pretty nice.
Was it? I've been to San Jose Zoo. That wasn't great. I've never been to the Bronx Zoo. Is that good?
Yeah.
It's certainly well known. Yeah.
But like you said, the zoo, they're still like captive animals, right? But like a lot of them are born in captivity. They can't be re-released.
Right, exactly. They'd get attacked. They wouldn't know how to like sort of defend themselves in a more natural way. Well, I will say one of the best things.
At least that's what we're led to believe.
Yeah, well, exactly. Otherwise, we wouldn't justify like being comfortable going to a zoo and paying them $45 to let us walk around.
I used to have a membership to the Metro Park Zoo.
Yeah.
4 times a year.
The San Diego thing, it was like the San Diego Zoo, but then what it used to be called the San Diego Wild Animal Park. And that was awesome because you could like go there and you're just like walking down the aisle, and then I look up and there's this like giraffe that's like, okay, so you could feed me now. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And then when I stop feeding him, then he runs away like 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is cool. What I never did, and I wanted to do this so bad, is you can camp there in the middle of the summer.
What?
Yes. And in the summer, it's hot as hell. So what a lot of people don't know is, of course, hey, we're going to go to the San Diego Zoo and the Wild Animal Park in the middle of the summer in San Diego on vacation. Well, that's great. You go to the Wild Animal Park, it's way too hot. The animals don't move, right? But at night, they come out like crazy. And so, oh, man, I just think that would just be so fantastic. You hear all of the lions and tigers and bears, oh my. But it's like, that would just been so friggin' rad. That's one of the few things I'm bummed I never got to do, like before leaving. What about you? Anything like back in the U.S. where you're like, you know what, I really should have gone to Grand Canyon or like?
Yeah, so like I've been near the Grand Canyon. I've always wanted to like trek in it.
Have you? Yeah.
Mount Rushmore I never saw.
I never want to see that. That's not
I kind of do. I think I'd love to.
Mm.
I want to try to sneak up the back, like in National Treasure type of thing.
I'm told that when you go there, it's disappointing because all the pictures you've seen of it ahead of that trip were taken at the exact appropriate spot where you see it. And then when you get there, kind of like Niagara Falls. Like you get to Niagara Falls and you're like, okay, well, first of all, the U.S. side looks like dog shit. Looks like a fucking landfill. The Canadian side is the one that looks good. But after you walk around, and then you're like in the normal city, you're like, yeah, this is basically like Buffalo. I mean, it's amazing. The real estate in Niagara Falls, considering how globally it's well known as like a tourist area, it's so inexpensive to stay there because it's a dump. It's amazing.
For sure.
Dude. Wow. It depends how many red light districts you want to go to. You know, where there's that 700-year-old fat chick.
So I always wanted to do like the Great American Road Trip, and I never did it.
I drove cross country when I moved from Boston to California, and I got to tell you, dude, I wanted to do it again with Gracie big time. And in fact, we were going to do that this summer. I'm like, listen, here's what we'll do. We'll fly back. We'll go to San Diego. And then we'll just grab a car. And in fact, I was even considering buying one because I'm like, you know, for $3,000, we can get a decent enough like Honda Accord. And if it breaks down along the way, we'll either just sell it and buy another one, or we'll have it fixed and we'll stay in that town for however long.
Yeah.
And take the southern route and cruise. Because I mean, that's the thing. If you haven't been to the United States and like been around, I mean, it really is enormous. I mean, there's so much difference too, because I remember when I picked her up, first time she's in the United States, I picked her up in San Diego at the airport in, I think it was in like April. So the weather was pretty nice. And, you know, San Diego's like right there on the water, you know, and I pick her, and then I drive her to Coronado, which is, you know, basically the top 3 most expensive places in all of San Diego. And we go get a salad that costs like $27. And she's like, this is America? And I'm like, no, not the majority of it. It's kind of a bad sample size. But she's just sitting there going, she's like, how do you live here? This is so expensive. I'm like, yeah, no, it's kind of frustrating. But I definitely wanted to show her other parts of it. Don't you want to show Jib like parts of America?
No, whatever she wants to see. I mean, like, yeah, I would love to take her to like San Francisco, you know, the Marin Headlands, like, you know, up to Seattle, Portland, you know, maybe New Mexico. You know, I could skip the whole East Coast. We could do New York, maybe Boston for a couple of days, but
Gracie liked Boston. It was nice in the summer for sure, right?
Yeah, maybe Providence, right? Have some pizza.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah. She actually said, she sent me a message today. She goes, I really miss American pizza. And I'm like, well, right, because in Philippines, it's gross.
Well, come to Bangkok and you can have pala.
No, trust me. I told her, I said, this is so great that I'm meeting all these white dudes. I said, because they know exactly where to get good quality Western food, essentially.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you, yeah, I definitely like. I would like to, if I go back to the States, I would like to go and do like a road trip, like a proper road trip. But then,
for sure,
they have a thing called the scooter cannonball run, which is it's like Maine to like somewhere in the Midwest, like Chicago or something.
On scooters?
Yeah, and it's like 11
ouch.
days.
Oh, my ass would be killing me.
I would love to go out, get like, just buy it like a new Honda Cub or something. And
I'd be so uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I mean, that's one, I love riding small scooters, and two,
yeah, me too. It would be pretty rad too. I mean, again, as long as you did it in the summer, you know, you didn't have to deal with like ice and snow and all that nonsense. But
yeah,
that would, I mean, that would be pretty cool. But you know, again, the roads back there, they're not designed for Honda Cubs. They're not designed for the scoopy eye. They're designed for a SUV, basically, to go get your Starbucks in.
With a 10-cylinder car.
Yes.
The 10-cylinder engine that can do like 200 miles per hour, but that's part of the fun of it. That's part of the challenge of it, is getting on the open road in this little scooter and just going.
I don't know. It's funny, man. When I took a course, to learn how to drive a motorcycle in San Diego. So therefore, they give me the certificate so I could get my So I go and do that, and of course, they're going around the room and they're like, "All right, well, why are you here?" And half the people are like, "Oh, because I already bought like a Harley." Yeah. I told you the story before.
CC low boy.
Yeah, and I'm just like, a fat boy. Like, why did you buy? They're like, well, it was on sale for $17,000. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so I'm doing this. Yeah, on sale. And and they're like, well, I said, well, honestly, I will never drive a motorcycle on a freeway in California. That's insane. The minimum speed limit in the left lane is 85 miles an hour in California. I mean, come on.
I love the smaller. Like, I've had big bikes, and they're great. They're fast, but nothing peaks the fun level of a little scooter zipping around Asia, like 120.
Oh, zipping around Asia for sure.
And like, I think if I went back to the U.S., I would want to live somewhere where I could still drive a scooter around and have a good time and do stuff with it.
That was what was nice about Coronado. I mean, because it had, pretty much you walked everywhere. Bicycles essentially had the right of way. It was a small island. People had like golf carts, right? Like literally kids would drive golf carts to high school. Heaven forbid they walked 6 blocks, but it was definitely a place for a scooter. And in fact, Gracie said, I said, well, maybe we should buy one. That way she can get good at it or whatever.
Yeah.
But, oh, Scott, I see some comments. Scott, you're very welcome. Yeah, Scott pinged me and we talked for about an hour and a half today. It was kind of cool. Nice. Dude, you know what? I am getting tired. I know you're a night owl, but I'm like up at, I think I gotta crash, bro. I gotta crash.
I was up at 5 today, man.
Did you really? Good for you. What time did you go to bed? Did you only get like 4 hours of sleep again?
Yeah, maybe less.
Yeah, see, but I'm on vacation. I'm very busy tomorrow. I got to go from here. I got to go past this bed that you see, out that door to to the balcony, and then I have another 50 feet I need to walk to go to the beach. So don't give me any of this, oh yeah, big city. I'm roughing it, dude. I'm roughing it.
Well, you're missing out on the Civil War, so
Well, I was concerned about that because I figured this is going to be Lexington and Concord all over again. So there's no fucking way. I already dealt with that shit growing up in Boston.
Who's the Ty Paul Revere?
That's a great question. One, if by smartphone. Two, if by.
All right, so next live stream, I'll get Jid and we'll tell the story of the vegan ice cream.
Let's do that, but let's also use a couple. We got some other questions, guys, about like specific Thai things that I think you're going to probably want the answer to. I know I want the answer to. Not the least of which is, Mike, be careful when you're walking back to the BTS tonight because someone might hit you in the car because it's dark out. And I'm like, okay. I said, but do you ever walk on the road? She goes, oh, no, I'll never walk on the road because, at least they'll see you and they'll see a white person and they'll be like, oh, there's no way we're going to hit this guy because it'll cost too much money. But they totally run me over because I'm Thai. And I'm like, what? I need more details on that story. That is coming from a Thai person. I'm like, that is interesting. Now, she may not be comfortable saying it because she's Thai, which I can appreciate. They're very proud. Yeah. But
let's wrap it up. Guys, check out, again, we'll record a whole proper episode about the Hill Tribe project.
Yes. Get some video
together. I appreciate all you guys who have supported so far, who have donated, paypal.me/BangkokStrange. Any of you guys who buy merch, the money from the merch goes to fund this project as well. shop.BangkokStrange.com.
Let me specifically thank the 3 guys that gave money last time because I really, really appreciate it. So, Hugh DeWatt for one. He gave money, which was awesome. I'm not going to say his real name, but thank you so much, Hugh. Scott B, you're totally awesome. He's on the stream right now. He gave $20, dude. That's friggin' amazing.
Thank you so much, man.
And Joseph Pinto. Joseph Pinto also comes by the live streams before. So, guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Both of us do, not just me.
Yes.
So thank you.
Both of us really do. And I know that the teacher and the kids up at the school will, when we were able to get up there and really bring, get this project really rolling, get the funds going. I've been reaching out to a few companies trying to get some sponsorship with it. I think Mike and I are going to strong arm the company that we're both on the advisory board for.
The one that I just gave thousands of dollars. Yes, they're going to be paying.
Yes. Mike's like, yes, they're going to be giving money. I've given them thousands of dollars.
Yeah. My investment will easily fund about 7 more ping pong tables. So I think we're good.
Yeah. So yeah, we will be we'll have some sponsorship going up as well. And like I said, hopefully we'll be creating a ton of really interesting content while we're up there. And then the other thing we'll have to plan to bank content because we won't be able to post while we're there.
A lot of batteries. Yeah. Yeah,
a lot of batteries. Well, if we're bringing solar up, hopefully we'll be able to charge, right?
Dude, absolutely. Yes, that'll be our motivation. Unless we hook this shit up, dude, we can't do our podcast. I love it. That'll be huge. Yeah.
We'll bring the cameras up. We'll make like another little short video, maybe a little bit longer than the squat video.
Yeah. I want to thank Jib for instantiating that level of humiliation on video. She's great. Yeah.
Well, so the other day, real quick before we go, Jib and I are coming off the train, and I see a guy squatting, and she's like, "Oh, see, he's just relaxing. He's on his phone." I'm like, yeah, but he's leaning against the wall. That's cheating.
He's a Western tie.
So anyway, guys, again, thank you to everyone who has already donated to help out the project with the school. And we'll do, I think what we'll do is we'll take a lot of the photos that I have. We'll get Jib on an episode where we'll talk more about it and, and give some more detail because she was up there with me. And, we'll go through some of that stuff as well. And again, we'll pull more of the photos. I showed you guys like the kid with the slingshot and the dead rat, and they ate that rat. By the way, that was like his family's protein for the day. Was that rat kill that he got? So, like that and chili paste is what they eat. So again, that kid could be in the if slingshot rat killing was an Olympic sport, it would be the world champion.
Gold medal.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until next time, stay strange.
Peace.